I cannot sit here in whatever language to tell you there will never be a security situation in Nigeria. It will amount to giving a false hope to anybody. Because you and I, as you sit there, I sit here, you know that Nigeria has porous border. You don't need somebody to speak in tongues for you. You also know that we have limited number of military personnel. You know we have limited number of equipment for surveillance system like you find in advanced country. You also know we have the complication associated with terrorism in Nigeria is far more.
So, Mr. Bwala, I don't want to cut into your thoughts. Well, isn't that a reason to call for help?
Yeah, we've been working with partners. Maybe the perspective of your help is different from mine.
No, I'm just...
If the federal government is working with partners, is it an acknowledgement that, you know, the government is not in control of the situation?
Even the United States of America need us to help them, and we've been helping them in many ways.
Mr. Bwala, your comparisons may not be
you're talking about help from partners.
You refer to the United States having more insecurity than Nigeria. That may be debatable, but we read the stories here, you know, Mr. Bwala, and there is a higher rate of deterrence, even if there is a serious crime situation in the United States.
You know their
but
budget.
That is not the situation. Mr. Bwala, Nigeria spends trillions of naira.
Do you know the budget of New York Fire Service?
Without any result. And I just want to read to you the number of abductions,
any results,
especially since the declaration of Nigeria as a country of particular concern.
All right, so, Mr. Bwala, you said you have data of Christians, Muslims killed. So give us the figures.
So even the Civil Society for Liberties and Human Rights, the foundation of the fulcrum of the falsehood. If you look at their report, you go to their website, look at September, which is the data. I'm talking about data.
You said you have data that even shows that more Muslims are killed. So
that's what I'm mentioning to you.
So give us the figures.
Is the microphone not the enter your ear? I said number one.
You're quoting another website, Mr. Bwala.
Where do you get data?
No, you said the foundation of this was from that website, the lie. So you are quoting another data which you are using.
So what data do you want me to tell you?
The genocide.
What data do you want me to tell you?
You said you have data.
Have data, does it mean I'm the one that wrote it?
Mr. Bwala, you said you have data.
We have data. What are the data?
Muslims are killed.
You must.
So give us the figures.
Okay. Foundation for Civil Liberties and Human Rights, from their report, updated report September. If you go and read it, more Muslims have been killed. First, more non-Muslims. People who have not identified with religion, followed by Muslims. Followed by Christians. Yes, in their report, followed by Christians and then Muslims. In this thing for Africa, I mentioned in my previous interview, they also came up with a finding.
So the government doesn't have data.
Government.
So, Mr. Bwala,
no,
I guess we're saying it doesn't.
I am countering their own narrative. The government is not profiling. We don't believe we can never profile about this number of Christians. No,
and I think that is a challenge.
Has never and will never be involved in the profiling.
Is it fair for government not to look at that distribution when these claims are laid?
That is why, first of all, the government has not drawn up a data of that because the government will be irresponsible to profile people, right? So when they came up with their data, we studied their own report and we found fault with their own. Then we escalated that to other organizations and found fault with that. Then these organizations I mentioned to you, the news media, carried out their own data and they came up with the finding.
So first off, just a second. First off, it's important to have data that you can rely on. As a government, no, Mr. Bwala, when other data come out and say Nigeria is one of the most corrupt or one of the poorest countries, you say, no, that's subjective data. No, our own data.
You ever ask me the question?
Mr. Bwala,
Mr. Bwala. No, but let it be specific.
I have had conversations with those in government.
Let it be specific.
Things about...
so I am not that person.
One second,
ask me the question that you
represent that government. But the point
then I'm giving you the data also that is not limited to what I produce.
So let me give you the context now. The people who stay in the area said that one of the religious leaders said they had conducted over 70 mass burials. In fact, one of those mass burials had 501 people killed. That is a lived reality.
He said.
That is a lived reality.
He said, right?
He has the
data. Has he supplied it? Has he supplied you?
And I expect that government is working with him.
Has he supplied you?
But here's my point, Mr.
He doesn't have an answer.
He brought it on live television.
Mr. Bwala,
what I'm saying,
you are trying to ask me a question you know the answer to already.
What? I don't know the answer.
Then that speaks how well you're doing your job. If you don't have data information
my
from
brother,
Nigeria.
If you don't have a question, let's go.
So here's my point. The people who live there have said time and again that we are being targeted and killed, and I've given you data. But I want us to wrap up with this point, because you said you want to solve issues.
Has the government denied that Christians are killed, just like Muslims are killed?
You're saying that there is
the government denied that?
Mr. Bwala, you know why it will be important for data to be available? It's not just because it's a matter of irresponsibility, because the bigger concern is that Nigerians are being killed, whether they're Christians or Muslims. It is because there is a genuine concern in the communities where there is a lived-in reality that we are being targeted. We're unable to freely express our religious convictions. And as a result, if you do not tackle the root causes, you continue to address the symptoms, and then you'll be unable to sufficiently address the challenge. I believe that is where it is important to have data that can be relied on.
We are engaging with all communities.
Will it be responsible as a government to rely on data provided by just one organization, but to have an aggregation of data to prove that indeed there is no targeting of people of a particular religion?
Only this morning, in the course of our conversation, I talked to you about 7 different reports that we rely on. The government is not shying away. When these people came up with their, like the civil liberty, which is an apology of a separatist group, when they brought their report, I studied it. I mean, how can I close my eyes? And I faulted it on the evidence of that, and I challenge anybody. When the one for Africa, Observatory for Africa, Religious Right in Africa, when they came with it, I studied it. Look at the report in their data. All of these reports suggested the killing of everybody. The Christians have been killed, Muslims have been killed.
So you choose to
accept
that,
no, I said Christians have been killed.
No, you've said that, you looked at those ones, and then that is what you're relying on. But Reverend Achomo's,
you have a selective amnesia, with the respect, and you do a disproportionate, disproportionate analysis. You have not in 1 second in this place mentioned the killing of Muslims. Have you done that?
I will not insult.
Some journalists are the ones creating problems in this country.
I mentioned
by profiling people.
Mr. Bwala, that is not. I mentioned all the states that have been attacked. Majority of the states I mentioned.
Then I ask you.
So
the killing of one, the killing, I will not retract it.
So that means you're not being factual as well. But the point here is, Mr. Bwala, let's wind down on this point. I have represented
the journalists in Nigeria must play their role in finding solution. This fake news and hoax narrative of Christian genocide, it is disproportionate for journalists to sit and talk about the killing of Christians without also being sympathetic enough to look at the killing of other religions.
I mentioned all the states
you have not. All of you people are very silent about the killing of Muslims. The responsibility of government is to look at the killing of anybody in Nigeria as something that is bad and fight to stop it. We don't want to buy this idea of this Christian genocide. We are fighting insecurity, and all of our people are coming under attack every now and then.
To wind down, nobody is saying Muslims are not killed. In fact, there are parts of Nigeria that even Muslims are killed.
Have you mentioned that this morning?
You said it.
I mentioned it. I said it. You did not.
No. I was building a case because of where we're going.
So if you look at the totality of killings in Nigeria, where you have more Muslims killed than Christians, how is the notion that there is a Christian genocide over the Muslims?
I know as a government, you will naturally shy away from issues around genocide. It's okay. There's no problem with that. But we are saying in solving the problem, if we say there are 4 causative factors,
right?
Hypothetically, 4. No matter the percentage of those 4 causative factors or whatever we're dealing with, it would be unfair to say, because this is sensitive, let's not talk about it. You identify it and address it as a government. That's what we're going to, so that we have it, so that because we begin to blame journalists. Journalists will report.
You are repeating the words.
No,
with respect.
No.
Let me tell you what all of us have agreed. Let me tell you what all of us have agreed here. We all have agreed here there is insecurity, right or wrong?
Yes.
Indeed.
We all have agreed that Christians have been killed in Nigeria. But answer now. We've all agreed Christians have been killed. We agreed Muslims have been killed. We agreed those who have not identified as Christians or Muslims have been killed. So we have a case of insecurity and not a case of genocide.
Mr. Bwala, as we wrap up, we do have a challenge of insecurity, but we also have a challenge of extremism. And that is an elephant in the room. And I wonder if that conversation
we have a challenge of extremism.
And we know where the extremism is.
Are you more a relieved person, people who relieve their experience than the state where I come from? You know how many of our people are being killed?
I understand.
When these people came to kill, they didn't look at religion. And we will, as a government, we will never sit down and admit or agree with the fake news that is circulating that there is a Christian genocide.
Let's wind down on the challenge of control, Mr. Bwala.
You talked about wind down. You talked about wind down. You talked about wind down. When are we winding down?
We're totally out of time. We're totally out of time. We're totally out of time. But the most important thing, I know you get the gist. It's important. I know you defend your government. It's fine. But identify and address everybody's concern, no matter how sensitive it is inability to
Let's
face
hope
that
in the future you will address it, but you didn't do that today. You focused more on Christians. But in the future, I'm hoping you will.
That's the point. It came up in the
and in fact, if you even have the objectivity of looking at it all, then you don't need to call genocide. Let's focus on insecurity and how we find solution to insecurity.
We must wind down, and thank you very much. We've been talking with Mr. Daniel Bwala, the special advisor to Mr. President on Policy Communication. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Quickly, two factors before we go. One, there have been prison breaks since this government came in. Secondly, the United States is not asking for Nigeria's help militarily.
Is not asking.
You said they're asking for Nigeria's help in terms of military.
I never said that. I think that your mind is not here.
You said that even the United States.
You heard me. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say about
just to fact check before we close?
Kayode, you see, you have one problem.
I can't quote you copiously, but you did suggest
that he has been missed. My problem is he has been misposting.
My problem is to fight fake news. And I'm fighting fake news.
Lies in the name of bringing objectivity.
I
am not that type of I am not that type of anchor that will come to a TV station and keep quiet when people are peddling fake news. I will shut it down there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Bwala.
No, hold on, Bwala. You're the one kind of you're the one denying the reality, but it's fine. It's okay.
You did say that we're out of time.
She said we're out of time. She said we're out of time.
We'll continue with our conversation.